This podcast is rated R for restricted. Under 17 requires accompanying parent or adult guardian. Mission to
All right, so this week we watched, last week I guess we watched a movie that reminded at least me of Drive. And so this week, since we have a very long movie coming up, we decided to do a little push it out a bit and then watch the actual movie Drive from 2011, directed by Nicholas Winding Refn. And John is going to say something, I think.
I can add something. It's also somewhat timely in that Ryan Gosling has a movie called The Fall Guy where he also plays a stunt driver.
I thought the same thing when the movie started.
I forgot. Yeah. So it's timely. It's Gosling to Gosling.
Yeah, every 13 years, Gosling's going to play a stuntman. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's right. It's a phase.
Yeah.
The cycle of the moon.
So let's bring up the timer here. How many seconds are you going to give us this week, TC?
We're going to go 20. So 20? Whoever's going. Yeah, well, I mean, that's what you get.
Right, I'll go first.
Start and then
I'll just jump on the grenade here.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right, you go. Whatever.
Where's the
Here
timer?
we go. 20 seconds.
Oh, there it is.
Go.
Yeah, there's no flaws in this movie. This movie is like a tone poem, like TC likes to say. It's got some of the best soundtrack and most cohesive. Everything is cohesive. The acting is amazing and it's really unique. And just the way the sound and the soundtrack, the timer fucked me up. I ran out of time. It's great.
You got the general idea across, I believe.
Yeah.
I brain farted when I saw 5 seconds left. I'm like, I don't have enough time.
Oh my God. You ran out of time, bud. You ran out of time. All right, John, ready?
Sure.
Go.
This is a masterpiece.
I'm nodding.
Basically, that's it. I mean, it is. It's got style. It's got drama. It's got action. It's tension, and also you add the soundtrack and the flares that it has, and the performances like from Albert Brooks.
20 seconds isn't enough,
people.
John. Your
It's
time's up.
Fucking amazing. So done.
Sorry, I saw you continuing on, John. I didn't mean to step on it.
I had 2 seconds left, and you started talking over my last 2 seconds.
Edit me out,
All right,
TC.
You totally screwed me.
All right,
You
my
total
turn.
asshole. Hate you.
I agree on all the points that you guys made. I unfortunately did not like it as much as I did the other times I watched it, though. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was just the story or whether it was. I saw a lot of it coming because I already knew it was coming, but didn't hit this time as it did before.
All right, sweet. We're going into spoiler territory now.
Yeah, totally. It's funny because I think it hit me more than it did.
I got bored.
Yeah.
It hits
And I was
me.
like, I know this is such a formulaic story.
The story doesn't matter, though. The way it's done.
Next.
I agree. It's weird because it's pretty straightforward in terms of a movie, but
it's noir, dark noir
the
kind
style
of
of
thing, I
it
guess.
is like
slow mo
the
is
best.
cool.
The soundtrack.
How about how
Every
she
second
looks
of sound.
like Michelle Williams too? She
They
looks
look
a
the
lot
same.
like Michelle
Yeah.
Williams. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She must have been trying to get a cheap
Dude,
on the cheap.
the
back then.
the Albert. Well, there's many awesome scenes, but the Albert Brooks Bryan Cranston scene is fucking
Which one, where he kills
amazing.
him?
I mean, where he kills him. It's
sickening.
Albert Brooks, the way Albert Brooks plays the bad guy, because in all the other films, like he's the comedic actor, he sort of carries that with him too into this. Like he's a nice guy, like uncertain, sort of awkward. He carries a little of that with him, but to bring it to this really vicious role that he has, and Cranston is again this guy. This is after Breaking Bad was out already for like a couple of years. Like Breaking Bad was 2008, and this is 2011. It's not like it's new that this is it's like way past Malcolm in the Middle, but Cranston does the fear and the nervousness so well, and like hope that he's going to be okay. But man, that whole scene where he's like, Brooks is talking, he can have the car. I was really looking forward to this.
Yeah,
it's fucking amazing.
Agreed.
I mean, it's just chilling, and I'm not seeing it done to do the bad guy role like this. I'm not seeing it. Denny, you can be our comparator. I'm not seeing anything like
I agree.
this. Nothing even close to this about bad guy. Albert Brooks, he's showing regret a little bit in what he's doing. He's like, I got to do this. It's going to suck. Hey, the way he delivers those lines, it's over. It's okay. Fucking
It's really
chilling.
it turns my stomach whenever it happens. I don't know what, because I watch a lot of
I forgot about that part, and it did shock me. Because it's just not, it goes from such a normal conversation and calm to just, oh my God, he's dead.
Yeah.
and like,
but he's showing like I don't know.
He doesn't dislike the guy, right?
He's showing. No, that's it.
They
He's
were
like showing
long-term
this
friends,
measure.
so.
He's showing this measure of regret as he's doing it, but he's still fucking cold-bloodedly doing it, and that is ridiculously effective. Like I've not seen anything like that. I don't know where there's like something approaching that.
There never is, because whenever there's like this is like a mob
things.
movie, and whenever there's a mob killing, there's always like a little bit of viciousness to the kills, which is apparently makes it more exciting or whatever. But there's not really any viciousness to it, which makes it just, like you said, cold-hearted and like extra scary, because he's able to do this calmly and like trick him.
Right.
Like he doesn't see it coming, right? Because
and he's even sympathetic as doing it, where he's like,
it's
right, and he's sympathetic. He's like, it's okay, it's over.
Yeah,
there's no pain. Fuck.
What scares me about that too is like he's distracting him from death, which is about to come. He's like, "Don't worry, don't worry. He's
trying
to
help.
You're fine. You're about to die."
Yeah, he's like, "It's over. It's already over."
Right. Like, don't worry, like, because you don't have to, because you're got about 10 seconds. But
yeah,
it's fucking scary.
That alone, that scene alone is fucking amazing. It's so ridiculously
It's like one of 15
good.
scenes in this movie that stands out, I think.
I know. It's like I said, there's a lot, but that one is the one that like I remember that one from when I saw it last. I knew it was coming. It's like, I know this one. I didn't remember all the details because it had been quite a long time. I saw this like in the indie theater. Like this was a big deal when Drive came out. It may have been one of the first like indie films I actually went to see. I don't know. But it was like, it was big.
It made waves.
It was like big, but it was not a major release, right?
Yeah, it was indie. It was one French producer. Because Hollywood wouldn't touch it with the way they wanted to go with it.
Well, Jesus, right. They wouldn't have wanted the darkness in Gosling's character, right? They wouldn't have wanted the absurd, not absurd actually, but the violence, the direct and brutal violence that was there when it hit. They wouldn't want those things, right? But that's what again makes this movie so good. The other thing about Gosling's character, he's always just this kid, always kind of in love, but holy shit, he shows some darkness. Like when he turns to violence. Oh my God, it's really, I think it's really effectively done too, and also frightening.
When he's covered in blood after that hotel room scene, it doesn't even look like him.
Oh yeah,
it's fucking weird because they do a close up of his face. I'm like, is that even Gosling?
Right. And then how he like walks into the shadows when he's doing like it's really well done. He like just walks into darkness as he's like with the camera fixed on him. Man, it's again, I didn't remember how tense this was and how chilling it was.
It's because the soundtrack, the way the soundtrack works in this movie is so perfect. Like it is the best. Other movies have it the best. This movie is top tier, best thing I've ever seen. It perfectly puts like the style of music I like, but then like the way it's used, like the first scene where he's waiting in the car, and it has like you can hear his watch ticking, you can hear like the radio going, and then you can hear the low end, just the sub going like bump 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 bump, just to like keep the tension up, and it doesn't go fast, right? You kind of sit in the car with him, and like the tension from that is so high. It's the best it could have done it.
Right. That whole first sequence is masterful. Again, there's lots of parts to love, but that whole first sequence,
it's fun to be like
him picking
in
up
the know on his side, right? Because you're listening to the cop thing, and you're like, oh, this is a pretty fucking cool
right.
idea.
You're hearing like the choppers got him. And again, it's also what's awesome. There's so many awesome decisions about when to bring the music in, when to have it be silent. How the guys in the back say nothing. That's so, any other action movie, they're like, fuck, dude, we're in trouble. Oh, look what you did. Wow.
Yep.
No, those two guys in the back are fucking quiet because they're terrified. And it's just that whole scene, that sequence, and the choices that they make as far as like, it seems like very, very deliberate and carefully done.
And just how cool it is, how it ends it, how part of his plan is he knows he's going to get caught, but I don't think I picked up on this when I saw it before. He has like the radio going, but in his earpiece he has the game going. So like he pulls into the parking lot as he's hearing the game. So he's basically just like driving around in circles until this baseball game or whatever sport it is ends. His plan is to park it in this busy thing, and that's a pretty sweet getaway.
If he needs
plan.
to, suppose he was like trying, to lose him at any point.
But he had the backup.
But this was kind of his like this was his like in game if he had to use it, right? So he was. Yeah, it is just amazing. You're right, the soundtrack and the score is awesome. But there's also like
when it kicks into like the
really,
drone shots over the city in that that synth song, that's fucking awesome.
It's beautiful, but then they make great use of silence a lot in the film. There's a whole lot of silence in the film when it needs to be there. And,
that's the one thing I did notice.
And so like there's the montagey soundtrack parts, all of which are awesome.
You guys are way more.
Yeah, dude, I love this movie.
You guys are way
this
more
movie's so fucking good.
about this.
All of the dramatic scenes,
okay,
the dramatic scenes are all quiet,
right.
and then there's kind of the love scenes, which have some really high end kind of experimental digital sounds going on, which works really well too. It's like they're falling in love sound, basically.
Right. And I again, that there's this character is sort of like childish in a way. He's naive in some ways. His idea of, he's never had anything like this. He's got like some terribly dark past, you got to imagine, because of the way how brutal he can be. And so he's never had anything close to a relationship. So they do this really well of showing like an innocence almost about him, even while he's this dark, horrible person capable of doing horrible things. And I think it's really well done. And the music reflects that too, because the music is like innocent in a way. Like that 80s synth pop has this lightness to it that is like, and that's silly, and a true hero.
Don't say silly. It's fucking awesome when that happens. I love that.
No, it is awesome. No. But
when it fades in and you think he's dead at the end and he doesn't blink for like 2 minutes.
No. That right. The movie's almost like smirking. It's like
Bet you think he's dead, huh? Bet you think he's dead.
It's like fuck. And also like the fucking ensemble cast.
Everybody is perfectly cast. This is I think the first time I ever saw Oscar Isaac and Christina Hendricks and probably Ryan Gosling. Oh no, I saw Ryan Gosling before this.
What? Fuck you. Yeah. What are you talking about?
Not too much, though. I saw like Half Nelson, I think, is like the only thing I saw.
Which was a great movie.
Yeah.
Oh, when you saw this original?
Yeah.
When you saw original. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
And I wasn't watching Breaking Bad.
Like
I knew Cranston from Malcolm in the Middle, but I was like, he's really fucking good in this. And I'd never seen Albert Brooks in anything. So I like it. Everyone
that's true. Me either, really.
Yeah.
Other than those old comedies that he was in.
I didn't even know he was a comedian. I just saw him in this and I was like, that guy's fucking awesome. I don't know why I haven't seen him do more serious roles before.
He's like a legend.
Yeah, as a comedian, apparently.
I can't imagine why this guy's great.
Right.
I don't understand it.
But he's so good.
You know that Albert Brooks guy.
You guys
Somebody
ever heard
should
of
give
Albert
him a
Brooks?
career
Yeah,
or something.
Ron Perlman.
Not Mel Brooks,
Ron Perlman,
Albert
who I
Brooks.
don't love sometimes.
Oh,
he's
fuck
so
yeah,
good
Ron
in this
Perlman.
movie. Everybody,
he was chewing up the scenery in this. He was just going nuts. It was really good when he was in there with his. Oh yeah, he looked like, I mean, and doing it as a serious character, but man, it looked like he was having a ball with it, sort of like really getting
even the
into
greasy
it.
jumpsuit mobster guy was good. I don't know who that guy is, but he was like, there's nothing, literally nothing to complain about in this movie. And you know how I like to complain. Like, I sit there and watch movies and I'm like, they should have done it differently. This movie, I'm just like, I love it how they dropped the music out here. I love these actors and what they're doing here. I love the pace of this scene. I love the tension they have. I love the way they're staring at each other. Like, every single thing, I'm like, I'm on board and this is fucking great. Every decision made in this movie is perfect and it creates this like really unique. It's like it's like an experience almost. Like there's kind of fairy tale.
Well, it's a linear time frame, and you kind of are with him. Mm-hmm. I noticed when they were in that scene in the hotel room, she gets up to go to the bathroom, and I said, "Why is she going to the bathroom?" And then I realized, because that's exactly what he's about to think, and it's all part of the plan. Mm-hmm. Like it's all part. Like we're visually seeing it to get the audience to go, what the fuck? Mm-hmm. And then it makes him go, what the fuck?
Same thing with the car pulling
and then
up.
He checks the phone. Yeah, right. And so then it like all happens in real time. So we're really following along with him.
And the thing is too, like the best part about that scene is, usually in movies, it's like, he should have thought as soon as he knew that she was in on it that she would have told them. But like it goes so linearly that like there wasn't enough time for him to like come up with it.
Right.
Because I didn't think of it before he checked the phone. Right. So it's like you can't blame the movie for being stupid because there wasn't like the way it's put together.
It wasn't being stupid.
There's no time.
It was being intentional. Right. And there wouldn't, So it's really, those moments were very, very good. Yeah. Where it like teeters on the edge of you being in the scene with him and you being the viewer that's watching. So it's pretty good.
Same,
stuff.
like it starts out like with the first scene is that basically it's like just no time cuts, just straight linear car chase. Same thing when he drops them off at the pawn shop, and he's just sitting there, and the car pulls up, and he like looks over at the car, and you're like, what the
really
fuck?
Tense, really fucking tense.
Yeah, like that's a nice car. It has tinted windows, and that's probably not a good thing, right?
Yeah, right.
Right.
And they really do it in a way that's not too obvious. Like, oh, look at, like, they're just, it feels very natural. The way they're building the tension feels really natural and not too like, oh, look at that, this is gonna be bad. So it's sort of subtly done in a way
until it's not, until it's
like
exploding
in the moment.
right?
Well, until
until it's a live gunfight.
Yeah,
but yeah.
But you don't see that coming. I mean, if you hadn't seen the movie, it is very like quick how that happens.
Yep.
And then he's just dead, and you're like, oh fuck! And then like the car, like it just everything happens so fast once it starts going. Yeah. I guess like I don't know, old westerns or Tarantino, you know, that type of style, slow build up and then instant violence.
Kind of, but still, yes, it is. But I don't know, Tarantino. They're just too proud of themselves doing it. I mean, again, I love Pulp Fiction and whatnot, but it just feels like it's they're really like, yeah, look at this.
Yep.
This film does not feel like that. It just,
which is
it's a lot
amazing
more
how it doesn't, because
I don't know.
this movie could have been so bad with what it does, right? Like just two people. There's a lot of scenes of two people staring at each other lovingly with music in the background,
Yep.
and if it didn't work perfectly, then that would be terrible, I think. But it works somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, we got
how.
a whole show, Stranger Things, that did that the entire show.
Oh, is that what that devolved into?
But-
Clearly a good technique that was definitely used after this movie came out in other avenues.
It's a good
it just
selling
works.
point. Just like you get two attractive people to fall in love with each other, and everyone's like,
You do,
"Fuck yeah, I like this."
And like
But
in
you
the
build
middle
up,
of a moment where they're thinking, those things work, right? Where they're thinking about something that we're also now digesting.
Right.
As long as that time frame matches up, it seems to work great.
And it works with this one too, because you don't know where
again,
their relationship is, and neither do they.
Right, and you don't know what's going to happen next. Like, and it culminates in the kissing scene, which follows up with the brutal elevator beating.
That was the one time Naomi was like, "I don't like that." I'm like, "Wait, you didn't mind the shotgun to the head, but you don't like the stomping on the head? What's the difference?"
But it's still fucking amazing. It's really amazing. It's an amazing contrast.
The lights
to do that
dim,
and
the things
shows,
slow down.
Shows such violence in his character and her reaction to that. And then I don't know. It's just I don't know of anything like this that does it so well. That you have this sort of sudden violence and this real gritty sort of feel to it that Scorsese could only wish he could do. But
he doesn't try for this style. He doesn't try for this kind of
Take
style.
that, Scorsese.
I know he glamorizes it more, but it's still just pretty fucking amazing. I think like the way that they do this, the way that you have this darkness and this drama that's going on, and even like I like where like him with the Oscar Isaac's character, that he could be seen as a rival, he could be seen as like the competition, and yet he's trying to help this guy out, and I like how that dynamic plays out. Like it's really well done. It's like he sees this guy as competition. He knows it, but he needs help. Even Oscar Isaac's character is like, yeah, you're hitting on my girl, but I'm desperate too. And I don't know. It's just the way that plays out is also really well done, like really carefully done. It feels like, so that it could have gone in all kinds of different ways. And it does it in a way that Oscar Isaac's character is sympathetic at the end of it. And I think that was, but it's not like showing him as this really great guy either, like some real great dad or something. So
yeah, like teases, like it sets up a scenario where there'd be tension you've seen 1,000 times in that kind of situation, but then it doesn't go there at all.
Right, like Oscar Isaac could be the asshole to threaten Ryan Gosling character. I don't even know, does his character
the driver
have a name? The kid, the driver? Is his name in the script?
It's the driver is his official name, but yeah, he's called the kid or the driver in the movie.
Gotcha. Yeah, no official name.
He's like Blondie or whatever, Clint Eastwood in the Man with No Name.
Yeah. Pale Rider. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. Cool. Anyway.
Don't you love it, TC? Don't you love it when we love movies? Come on.
Yeah. No, it's great. I'm glad you guys are happy. Yeah. Glad you guys
at
had
least
a good time.
one or two of us are happy. That's always nice.
Yeah,
it's been a long time since I see this. I forgot. I don't think I forgot how good it is. I think I appreciate it much more now than I did. I think this. I don't think I thought this was just kind of cool and shocking when I saw it and stylish. I don't think I really had an appreciation for what it did at the time.
And even now,
and so we're seeing it again.
I'm kind of having the same reaction where I'm watching it now, and I'm surprised. I've seen it it's probably the fourth time I've seen it, and it still like hits me, and I'm like, this is amazing how this movie can hit me in this way again. It's probably not the same as the first time I watched it, but usually, most movies they quickly degrade and rewatches and they get bored of them or whatever, but not this one. This one is still, I enjoy watching everything it's doing because there's like enough, even though I know what's going on, it's not so much like, even though the plot is like pretty good and it's like entertaining by itself, it's not the reason that I like it so much. It's like, you know, what's going on at any given second of the movie is like good to look at. It sounds great, you know.
Yeah. It does, and it's not.
That is very true.
It's like pleasurable in like a different way than most movies are.
Yeah. And another interesting thing about such a really good, stylish film is this one. I'm going to say this wrong. This one, maybe I need help here, but so help. But it's not about like the cinematography so much. I mean, it's not about scenes or showing like I don't know, long shots or big environments. Or it's more about the interactions and I don't know how to say this, but I've seen some stylish films that are, when I talk about them being stylish or whatever, I'm thinking of how the cinematography is done and how the camera's moving, and I'm very aware of that and how the shots are composed. And that's not what's going on here.
It is. It just blends, John. It is, but it blends.
Right. Okay. So it blends so well that I'm not, and maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say. Again, like we've said with everything else, it just does it so smoothly that it's not like, hey, look at me. Look at me. Look at this beautiful fucking sunset with these beautiful fucking mountains and this car off in the distance. Isn't this awesome? You know,
John's rallying himself up over here.
Maybe that's not what. Maybe that's why it's so good, because it just is just very subtle. It's just very smooth, right? Like it's got all this stuff and it's very stylish and well put together, but it's not calling attention to itself in that it's doing it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree, but I think he just got lucky, honestly, because I was, after watching this movie.
Well, yeah, this director, this writer, I like, after watching this movie, Neon Demon, looking
Only
at
God
the other
Forgives.
works,
I followed him for those two movies, and those movies are not good.
Yeah.
And even like Only God Forgives has Ryan Gosling in it, and it's the one he did immediately after this, and I was like, what the fuck?
I didn't see that.
How did he make Drive? Like, how did he do that?
Yeah, Neon Demon was really weird.
And
I didn't like it either.
Elle Fanning.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's like, it's so boring. Like, he's just, those two movies are just, they're violent, but they're boring. And they're stylish and colorful, and there's weird music, and they're similar in a lot of ways, but they don't have what Drive has. There's like something in this movie.
Well, and the writer of this film didn't do other things like this either. Or I mean,
did he try? I didn't follow the writer too much.
Yeah, I mean, the book this is based on might be interesting to look at. I didn't even know it was based on a book until today, or I would have tried to look into that. But it was based on a book called Drive.
You're talking about
oh, really?
Amini? Last name Amini?
Yeah. He I looked at what he'd done, and none of it looked particularly. I mean, not that it was failures.
He
or
went
anything,
from this
like
to write
notable.
Snow White and the Huntsman. That's a jump.
So.
That is a jump.
It's a downward lateral jump for some reason. He's doing a lot of like. Well, no,
that's
he's
a classic, Hollywood, step. Really, the lateral demotion. Never above. You're never going up. Really, you're just kind of going sideways, and you're broke. That's LA in a nutshell.
And then you're broke.
You made a good artistic movie. How about you hop on the bandwagon of all these big budget shit movies, and then you ruin your own career?
Why not?
How about that?
Well,
exactly.
maybe he made a lot of
and
money.
Then never work again. So. Right. That sounds about right. Yeah.
He's only done 17 things.
And then you'll waste a couple decades of your time, and then you'll end up pretty much broke when you're in your 60s because you created, quote unquote.
He did the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV miniseries most recently.
Oh, hey, that's good for him.
He's getting paid.
I think that was favorable.
It's Disney money right there.
He's making money.
He's mouse money.
He's breaking even.
He's buying ramen. He's getting the guacamole add-on. Come on.
He's he's paying off his debt and then racking up more.
That's right.
It's good.
Yeah, it just part of that. The fact that like this guy, the director, I think he tried. I mean, I don't know if you. I think Only God Forgives is more similar to Drive than the Neon Demon is, but it is.
What was Only God Forgives? I didn't even know about that one because I only knew about Neon Demon.
It was also like some revenge story. I only remember a couple of scenes and not the plot. Like, I don't think the plot really mattered at all, or I wasn't interested enough to pay attention at the time, and certainly haven't retained it since I watched it way back 10 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, really a step down, like huge step down, and it was kind of surprising. And then the trailer for Neon Demon looked good. I was like, all right, Try number 3, see what happens.
Right.
And then I think I fast forwarded through the end of that movie. It was just so damn boring. I don't know what it is. This movie isn't like that. So, I mean, it's even more special that it's accidental somehow. You know, like there was a lot of intention behind a lot of it, but there's always intention, and a lot of it doesn't work, or it's bad intention, or it's doesn't,
right.
They're not smart enough to know what's going to happen. I think it's just like this is like a lucky movie or something. You know, everything just happened.
Yeah,
to fall
I mean, things just work sometimes.
A perfect storm, right?
Things just work.
Because there's some people that can like Spielberg can put together a bunch of good movies. Kubrick can do that too. Some people can do that over and over again. But sometimes there's just like this one guy does one thing and he's like, check it out, it's fucking perfect, and then I don't have a career because I can't do it again.
Well, I mean, look at like Donnie Darko was another sort of
that guy's
example
second
of this, where
movie.
that was
Did you watch that one with The Rock and
but
Sean William Scott and Southland Tales? It was fucking weird. He went way too far into the weird. And you can see it too.
Well, even when he tried to remake Donnie Darko,
the director's cut for Donnie Darko was super fucking weird.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
So it's just like the edit saved that one. And this one...
I mean, the edit saves a lot of them. You just don't realize
the edit didn't save any. This one, well, I don't know how to put this. It's the opposite of that kind of. He knew that the producer was going to have notes, this French producer guy, so he only shot what he needed. He didn't shoot anything extra, so that when it was put together and they wanted to change it, which they did, there was nothing to change it to. Everything they had was in the movie, and there was nothing extra.
This is all we got? So this isn't. He knew what he wanted. He did it. This wasn't somebody else having a hand.
This is
here
all him
in terms of making it what
and
it is.
he did all the soundtrack choices. Ryan Gosling helped with some of the soundtrack choices. There was some improv dialogue in there. Bryan Cranston mostly. So there was like some input that he had, but he had full control until the final edit was there.
Wow.
Once they had the edit and they were screening it to people, this French producer guy and some of the guys that were like co-producing were flipping out, and they wanted to take their names off of it. They were rushing around
because it's too violent, too dark,
different.
and
it
all
wasn't
that.
going to make money. They thought it was bad somehow.
But see how annoying this is?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Right? I mean, Jesus.
But then
Christ.
as soon as it went to the Cannes Film Festival, it went to Cannes and it did really well at Cannes. And then everyone at that point was like, "Oh yeah, this movie's great. We know, we made it."
But I always knew it was going to be good. Yeah, I mean,
you can put my name on that. Of course, you can put my name on that. I'm proud of
Didn't
this.
I have a higher percentage of profit on that one? I could have sworn I did.
Yep,
yeah, that's actually my baby.
That's
I
crazy.
don't trust any of those smarmy fucks.
I don't know how you watch this movie and are a fan of movies and go, "The fuck." I tried to put myself like watching the commentary track. It is a different experience watching this movie without the soundtrack going too. Just like it seems a lot more normal. Like the magic of it goes away a bit because you're not hearing the way the sound manipulates you with the way it's put together. But but he was taught like just thinking about how these producers watch movies compared to audience members like us, you know, like consumers or whatever. The way that they must sit there and be like, can I make money from this movie? Is this going to make me more money? Right. And then just sitting there and be like, I don't care if I like this or not. I don't care if it's artistically valid.
It doesn't matter,
not.
right?
If this doesn't make money, then I don't like it.
That's what they're doing. Yeah,
right.
That's the value.
That's all they do. The financiers they don't give two shits about your creativity or anything that you want to do. All they care about is, will this hit the market they're trying to aim for? It's awful.
Yeah, and they must only base it on previous data because this movie is kind of unique, and they must be like, there's nothing else like this, so it can't make money. It's like sometimes there's new creative shit that does make money. I guess it's too risky for people.
And they're like, and those aren't the movies we're investing in.
It's maybe an indie movie, but we still want to make guaranteed cash over here.
Yeah, right. I mean, the financiers will tell you right to your face. If you don't have a certain actor to get you at a certain budget range, then they don't even want to even have a discussion. Doesn't matter if the story's great. If you can't pull in the talent, you're not getting the cash. Mm-hmm. So
guess who is?
That's how it stays in that stupid little echelon.
Guess who the star was before Ryan Gosling signed on? The Universal Studios bought the rights to the book back when the book first came out, and then they had a whole thing set up where they had a director and a main actor attached for a while. Huh. You're not gonna. I mean,
Tom Cruise.
Nope, not a bad guess. Wolverine himself.
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman.
Before he was important, or while he was important?
Back in 2009.
I don't even know the time frame.
I think Hugh Jackman was like Wolverine back then, right? I think he was pretty big.
I don't know.
That was his big role, though, right? Before
I didn't know him before Wolverine.
I don't think he did much, if anything, before Wolverine, right? So he must have been after 2009. I don't know when.
I think the X-Men came out in the mid 2000s, right? The first one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna guess 2005.
Either way,
That
I
makes
mean,
sense
you know.
then. He would have been. He was good. He can do stuff.
He can do stuff.
He'd have been all right.
2000 is the first X-Men. 2003
Yeah,
X2.
wow.
So yeah,
So
he was popular.
already a decade in.
He was already like he'd
Yeah.
arrived.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
he had 5 X-Men movies under his belt. So he's gonna.
And he was great. He was great in those.
He was the only good part of some of
He was
those,
really
some might say.
good. Yeah. pretty much.
But yeah, so that kind of petered off after a while, and then Ryan Gosling, he was called by one of the producers in Universal, I think, that knew of the project and got him to like read the book, get interested in the project, and he was just coming off of Half Nelson at the time, so he signed onto the movie and he got to pick the director. So he picked Nicholas Winding Refn, who was from Europe, and I think he picked it because he did Bronson first, that movie with Tom Hardy in it. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. It's a pretty good movie.
No, is that good?
I remember that one. Yeah.
Tom Hardy's Bronson. What is it about?
Is that when
Like,
he was a boxer?
Yeah, he's
or
a
was that-
boxer.
or was
He's
it-
kind of like a
yeah.
tough guy boxer. And that was the first thing I saw Tom Hardy, and I was like, "Oh, I fucking like this guy." But so he did that one, and then he also did the Pusher trilogy, which I've heard about but not seen. It was made in the 90s, I think, and it had Mads Mikkelsen in it back in the 90s.
Jesus.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah.
damn.
That's
like,
a long time ago.
Right.
Young Mads. That I'd like to see that.
I watched some trailers. It looks pretty good, and it has good reviews and shit like that.
Maybe we should we should put that down on the list.
Yeah, we
there.
could. But yeah, so Gosling knew about those movies, and he was like, "I want this guy to direct it. I think he would be good." So we got him, just easy, But they couldn't get Hollywood funding. They had to get the French producer guy, but he was hands off until the end when there was a bunch of panic around what they had come
When,
up
of
with.
course. Right.
Is, what have you
Hey,
done?
we've been trying to get your feedback for fucking 6
Give me
months,
back
but
my
hey,
15
thanks.
million. God
Yeah.
damn it.
Jesus Christ.
$15 million budget made over $80 million at the box office.
God damn.
Good job.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, see how if you can make one work, though? Jesus.
Yep, it is kind of like gambling.
I know.
I wonder who decided to do the purple cursive script
That was
because
Nicholas
that's also like,
Winding Refn, the director. He credits
Really?
it to
'Cause
It
It's
fit
awesome.
perfectly.
Yeah.
It fit perfectly
Yeah.
with the music.
it's between John Hughes' 16 Candles and Risky Business. So just like 80s movies that he
Nice.
loves.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Are we getting into
I think
trivia?
that's why this worked. Maybe that's where he got, because he loves those 80 movies. That's the other thing that makes this so, it has that feel to it, even though it's so dark and gritty. It's also 80s movie. So
And the weird thing is the soundtrack sounds like it's 80s pop music, but all of those songs
Yeah,
are
yeah.
like late
But
2000s, early 2010s, like newer songs when this movie came out. They just happen to fit
Yeah.
within that style, which is pretty sweet. I honestly thought the first time I watched this movie, I was like, I thought it was an original soundtrack because I like to think of myself as up to date with music and stuff. And I was like, if this music existed, I would have known about it. But no, just other people.
No, it's good. Yeah, it still actually sounds like modern Taylor Swift-ish in some ways. Like some of like the
Yeah,
the,
she
the
does have some
moodiness
of
and
that.
the synthness and the
Isn't it funny how the music just keeps cycling through every 20 years or
People
whatever?
forget. Once you hit 20, you stop paying attention to new music so you can start it all over again.
That's fair.
Why not?
I know.
Yeah, it's nice.
Isn't that true?
Yeah. Some people still have the Foo Fighters as their favorite band. Never understand that.
Hey, that's
I like
all
the
right.
Foo Fighters.
Hey, I liked the Foo
Could be
Fighters.
worse.
Favorite band?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, Dave Grohl's pretty cool.
So, all
I
right.
like, Dave Grohl's the
Dave
man.
Grohl is the man.
Can't
Do
go
you,
against
do you guys
Dave.
ever watch the show Hot Ones? Not to diverge too much. That show chicken wings where they
that,
eat
no.
increasingly hot chicken wings as they interview them with questions.
Oh, I've heard of it.
It's good, and they get
No.
like all these A-listers on, and Dave Grohl came on with hard alcohol, and he got the host drunk. They're just like chugging whiskey and cokes. It's like the only time they've drank on the show, and they got hammered because
Oh,
it was
nice.
Dave Grohl.
Wow. That's pretty funny.
It is
I mean,
pretty
Dave
good.
Grohl's the man.
He is the man.
What's it called? It's called
Hot Ones. Yeah, it's on YouTube.
I'll have to try it.
Yeah,
Okay.
It is.
Try
It's really just they've done like every A-lister you can think of, and if you like somebody, it's the best way to get to know them because the questions are like really well researched and shit.
Oh wow! I mean, and they're also eating really.
Yeah, it
spicy
gets hotter
food
and
for
hotter, so you get to
reasons.
see him sweat and stuff. It's pretty funny.
It's kind of funny.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Conan O'Brien's recent one was really good too. So commentary track. This is a really weird one.
Yes, let's
it
go.
was recorded recently, recorded after 2019 because they were talking about Refn's newest project, which was a TV show, which came out in 2019. So sometime around then, somewhat recently. It was him, and then he had a movie critic on, a guy named Peter from The Guardian, who's just a movie critic.
Interesting that they would have a critic.
And he wanted
is this
him
the
on.
first time in your...
It is the first time.
Is this the first?
It's the
Denny?
first. Yeah,
I mean, for
a
you,
director
yeah.
wanting and having a critic on. Like most of the time, if there's critics, they're on a separate commentary track with either by themselves
Yeah,
or
it's
with
the
other
critic.
critics.
Yeah.
It's never with the director. The director is that's the best. And a critic commentary track, that's the worst. It's like those are the polar opposites of somebody who listens to fucking hundreds of these things. But he wanted him on, and it was super fucking weird. Super weird. It was disappointing because I wanted to like listen to this guy, but what he let him do was he kind of just let the critic talk him up the entire time. Like he wanted.
That's why he's got him on.
Right.
Hey,
But-
tell me how I'm
so,
great.
yeah.
Tell me how
Yeah.
good this is.
Like-
And the guy was like, "Oh, this is great."
Right.
The guy actually said he did not like the movie the first time he watched it, but he watched it 5 more times, and now he gets it. He didn't get it the first time.
Five times it took him, huh?
Yep.
Good. Wow.
And now he loves it. He didn't get it. He said he doesn't understand why. The guy sounded like an idiot, to be honest. I mean, I guess you could be an idiot and be a movie critic for The Guardian. Who knew?
We're idiots and we have a podcast.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
That's fair. Anybody can talk and record
Yep.
things.
anybody can do it. Yep. It turns out you don't need much audio expertise anymore either.
Nah.
Yeah, as long as you have a following, you can do it. The critic found it difficult to engage with. He thought it might be the violence. He didn't like it how startling the violence was. He didn't see it coming, and he didn't like it
No.
initially, but now he
That
loves it, I
spooked me.
guess.
Yeah.
Refn is from Europe. He's a Danish director. Never been to L.A. This movie takes place in L.A. Didn't know where to shoot it. Ryan Gosling drove him around and just showed him places that he liked. And then whenever Refn liked it, he'd be like, all right, we'll shoot in this location. And they just added that to the list of where they do it. They shot the entire movie in chronological order, which is something he always does, apparently. And that lets him be able to change the scripts as they go along.
Right, because he can see it as they go.
Right.
Yeah,
So like
that
if
makes
someone comes
sense.
up with an
Makes
idea.
it really hard to do, though.
Right. Yeah,
It's
but
really
it's
hard to do.
Yeah, so they added a bunch as they went along. They added like the fork in the eye scene, like him dying that way was added in. A lot of improv was added that they could later build off
God
of.
damn, I forgot all about that other scene, which was awesome. Like
That guy's an idiot.
neck.
Albert.
The guy doesn't,
Knife in the neck.
Oh yeah, well,
Yeah.
was it a knife? Yeah, the knife in the neck. That's right. Yeah,
yeah,
that sound
with
was
the fork in
gnarly.
the eye
shit.
and the knife in the neck. And like,
Yeah.
man, I forgot to talk about. And the other scene, I really liked how they juxtaposed when Brooks and Gosling's characters were talking to each other, and they juxtaposed that with the stabbing. That was also really
Yep.
well done, and
And
again,
that was done
that's
because
something
they didn't have the footage. So like they were running out of money. It was the end of the movie, the end of the shoot.
No way, really?
And they wanted to be able to, so they had planned a big knife fight scene in the parking lot, but the day was ending, and all they had was that sunlight coming down. They're like, we don't have enough time to shoot this, so they came up with the idea on the spot of like, okay, so they were planning on doing the conversation scene first, and then the fight at the end. But then
And then
in the
the fight,
parking
but
lot, as the
instead-
sun was setting, they're like, let's just intercut the conversation we got like yesterday or whatever, and then have them fight in the shadows and
Damn.
just get this really quickly as the sun is setting. Like it was just thrown
That was
together.
cool. That was so good.
Yeah,
It
so
was
I mean,
so good.
pretty cool how it just works out. Like everything, all the decisions were good. All the actors did, fantastic work, and then all the things that fell apart ended up working better for the movie. Refn is colorblind and dyslexic,
Oh,
Oh.
damn.
so that's why
That's
one of
a
the
rough
other
call.
reasons he likes the pink from the John Hughes and the and Risky Business is because it pops out
Stands
to him.
him.
Yeah, he's like, I can only see really, really loud colors. He's like, I don't know what I can't see, but I can see this pink. So I like it.
Nice.
The Scorpion jacket was influenced by Kenneth Angers. You know that name? Either of you? Apparently he's in the movie. He's in the band Kiss. He's one of the Kiss members.
Okay.
And that dude made an experimental movie called The Scorpion Rising. And there was a pretty similar jacket in that movie.
Oh, okay.
So that's where they took that from. Quote from Refn: Gosling has the face of a poet. You could film his face for 24 hours and you would never get bored looking at it. Only a handful of people in history have had a face like his. So if you were wondering about the slow zoom-ins on his face,
Yeah.
dude loves
Yeah.
his face.
It's because they're nice
It's
to look
fine
at.
and it works. It's totally fine. He's
it's
not
true.
necessarily wrong. I wouldn't have, those are some.
Only a handful in history is what he said.
Right. I don't know how you could put yourself in the
guy's
position to
fucking in
make
love
that
with his
judgment.
face.
But
And it
it's
kind
fine,
of shows,
yes.
and it works.
It works.
It was easy to cast besides Carey Mulligan. They kind of had people in mind for the roles, and the people that they wanted, they got immediately.
Did they decide Albert Brooks was going to be this? That just, it seems so unusual for him. Oh, we lost
TC's
TC.
gone. And he's back.
Oh, you're back.
Network is all fucked up.
They thought about it. It was Refn and Gosling talking about characters, and they just thought it would be cool if like somebody that was funny and intense and quick and smart and stuff would play this role.
God damn! Because wow. So they went after Albert Brooks, and
they went after Cranston. They went after Ron Perlman. The one person they didn't know was Carey Mulligan, but they had a bunch of tryouts. They did a ton of tryouts, and as soon as they saw her for this role, she clicked immediately, and they were like, "She's the one for this."
Wow.
He said it was a very easy film to make.
It seems like it would be, right?
Yeah. 7-week shoot, including all the stunts. Gosling recommended the canal. He knew that in the summertime, I guess in the late summertime, the water all exits the canal, and then there's these little oasi, whatever that is.
Damn.
That they can go to. So he was like, we should shoot there, and they did. So that's where that whole...
Gosling should have been co-director here. Jeez, it seems like he made a lot of
the
decisions.
I mean, he's been in the
decisions.
business since he was a little kid, so he knows everything, I'm sure. Probably to like an obnoxious amount if you're in the crew. Because he's way more of a veteran than almost 90% of the crew is, I bet.
That's fair.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Right.
So since Refn isn't from LA, he didn't really have an idea of what the outside world looks like from a house in LA, I guess. So in his mind, he was thinking he wanted the Carey Mulligan character to be up in like a princess's tower. He wanted her to be like a princess that had to be saved. So his idea of her apartment was up in this elevated room. But then he got to LA, and everywhere in LA is like 1 to 3 story houses, like the entire way across. So apartment buildings like the one shown in this movie don't really exist. So they had to build it. They went to like one of the few high-rise buildings in LA, and they built an apartment. It was kind of like it's a commercial building, but they built an apartment in it because it was just cord and shelled, just so they could get the outside window shots being so high up.
So she could be way high up. Oh, wow. That's really cool. I didn't even,
Yeah.
Didn't even make
I
that
didn't either.
connection.
As soon as he pointed out, I was like, yeah,
wait
it's
a minute.
true.
This is LA.
You can see see really far. Usually when you're in LA, unless you're like pointing at the hills or whatever from far away, like you can't see shit. It's just houses.
Right.
TC knows. Is that accurate, TC?
I wish it was accurate when the movie came out. I think now they're building up.
Oh, are they?
So they're out of space. So they're building up.
Is that just
now,
in like
unfortunately.
downtown areas and stuff, or is that scattered around?
Oh, it's all over the place.
Really?
All over the place. Yeah, we got probably like a lot of 6, 7, 8 story apartment buildings. They made some new law where you can build up as long as on the first floor it's all open for like businesses. So as long as there's a first floor that has space to lease for businesses, then you can build up all you want. So
Hey, fuck yeah, we need housing, right?
I mean, dude, I don't know. You'd be surprised. These things are those luxury condos. That's what's end up.
Is that
those are
bad?
the ones end up.
Oh, because like not everyone can afford them, sort of thing.
Fuck, dude, they're like $4,500 for a 1-bedroom.
Oh shit!
Like, good luck, guy. Yeah.
People are affording it apparently.
And you know what you're not doing to get in those apartments is working on film. Unless you
made it
producers.
big. Yeah, you got to live there for 6 months, then you got to move out.
If you're Gosling, sure, but if you're just working on the crew doing, I don't know, whatever. It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think for the most part, you are correct. When this movie was shot, all the buildings are like 3 or 4 stories tops.
Yeah,
So you're not seeing much other than the next building.
right. Power lines. Refn says that dialogue, less is more, and none is better, as a rule of thumb.
Honestly, I noticed it, and I was like, that it does require you to do a little bit more work when you're
It's riskier.
Shooting.
If it's not working, then it's going to be terrible.
Right.
Right, you're
Then it can
supposed to
be bad,
show
yeah.
us rather than tell us, right?
Yep.
That's the rule.
Like,
And
in
it's
particular,
not
like
easy to do.
Gosling's character, the driver, was very quiet, which again, it worked really well for him. But yeah.
Even the interactions between Gosling and the little kid, like when they're first, when it cuts to them on the elevator and like they're just staring at each other and the kid's like,
it's more looks.
He's just excited to be looking at him. You're like, this is nice. Like I get the whole relationship here with this dialogue shot of them in the elevator. It's pretty great. Also, her like Carey Mulligan's look when they're coming back from the canal trip and it's like slow mo with the music and he's got the kid sleeping on her shoulder and she's behind him and the look on her face.
That was a great sequence.
You're like, that's fucking great.
It's really nice.
You get the entire thing without any dialogue.
You don't need to have the talking or even like again they do
and
these
like
things
with
like
2 shots.
Yeah,
that's the best part. Yeah,
like even it's a lot of stuff like that. That's just. Even when he's in the grocery store, he sees her, but he's gonna like move to the next aisle. He's not gonna talk to her because he's shy. And then you see that her car's broke down. And you see him approach her, but you don't see them talking.
That shot
about it. And then
that shot too, when he's walking to his car, like it has a whole shot where you don't even know what's going on with their car, right? And then it kind of pans over and then shows him doing that. It kind of hides it from you there.
Well,
too.
and it was that one kind of bothered me because the time was off.
How dare you criticize the TC?
I didn't like. I was like, the time was off. We know he was ahead because they were out there. They were in the shop doing their conversation. He had already had most of his stuff, so he was ready. No,
to go. TC, you see, he was waiting for her to leave because he didn't want to bump into her in the parking lot. So he stayed in. He hid. He was like, all right, 2 minutes. She's definitely gone. And then he walks out and her car's broke down.
See, it's part of his shame. There you go, Denny.
I did the same thing at the end. I had some like questions this time of like. So he's going around killing everybody in the mafia, but then he gets to Albert Brooks, and Albert Brooks is like, I'm not going to say you're not going to die, but I won't kill her. How about you don't kill me, and then you give me the money? And he's like, sure. And you're like, wait, why don't you just fucking kill him like you killed the other people? I don't really get it. Right. But then I'm kind of thinking like, I guess he assumes Albert Brooks is the highest up on this chain, and he probably assumes there's people higher up that Albert Brooks probably told about her. So like he needs to appease somebody at some level. And if he just kills Albert Brooks, then he's not going to know who's above him, and then he's probably going to die when he's sleeping or something like that.
What's going to happen anyway, I guess.
But I mean, that's kind of how I explain that away, because at face value, it's kind of like, isn't he just murdering people? Why did he stop murdering people? It seemed like it was a pretty straightforward plan there for a bit.
I think they were trying to I think they were trying to essentially say that he's willing to accept that answer from anyone as long as he hears that she will be left alone.
Right. He wanted to protect the girl. There was no way to protect the girl.
And he's desperate to hear that she'll be okay.
And Albert Brooks was
he knows
smart
that this
enough
guy
to know.
is the kind of guy that keeps his word, whether it's for evil or whether it's for good.
Right.
It's kind of stupid of him, isn't it? But
a lot of him is kind of stupid, right? Because he's like he doesn't do a lot of things that he could avoid to get.
And I guess he doesn't know who killed Bryan Cranston, right? He doesn't know. He might have assumed.
No, he knows.
What about Ron Perlman?
He knows.
Ron Perlman could have killed him.
It could have been any of them, right? He doesn't know who actually was there slicing him up.
Yeah, because if he knew that Albert Brooks killed Cranston, I don't think he would have done the deal with him, right? Because he liked Cranston.
Right.
Refn described having to go to these meetings. So like when you're at these festivals, you have to sell it yourself as the director, and he fucking hates doing that. He actually hates watching his own movies. So he watched it during the commentary. It was the second time he watched it since it was completed, the first time being at Cannes, and he sat there in the audience with his eyes closed the entire time. He hates rewatching his movies.
Maybe that explains why he had the critic with him, because he just couldn't talk about it.
Yeah.
So
he said he felt awkward the entire time he was watching it. He felt like anxiety watching his movies.
Do you think that's why he never made another good one?
Maybe. I don't know. People are fucking weird. I have a really good quote about his personality too. Probably one of the best quotes I've ever heard from a director. Let me just get to it now because I'm really talking it up. He says, I was screwed. I wasn't smart. I don't have any talents, but I have the attitude, vanity, and megalomania to create art. Needed to create art. So when he was in his 20s, he's like, I could direct because I have these traits. I'm not good at anything, but like I'm full of myself. I'm confident as fuck, and I love my own power or whatever.
But then I'm anxious and I'm too afraid to watch my movie.
Unfortunately, that's because that's what happens when you have some insight.
That's Hollywood in a nutshell.
He's got insight into it, and then he's got all this anxiety. He's fucked.
I just like the fact that he says that he has like vanity and he's confident in himself. Just usually directors are kind of like, oh, I'm just kind of a normal guy. And this guy's just like, I am fucked in the head. I think I'm the shit, and I think that I should tell people what to do. And I think directing probably sounds like a good thing for me to do, because that's all they do is tell people.
Because I have no other talent.
Right.
It's like, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Look at me. Look at me. I have no talent. But yet here's my movie.
Yeah. So, but
will you buy it for $5 million?
$5 million. And so when he was trying to sell it, he had to go like think of this, how to interestingly sell it to these people in words. And he used the phrase, this movie is like really good cocaine. And everyone liked that description of it. And they bought it for way more than $5 million.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
moral of the story is be weird and you might make it. Yeah.
And assume everyone in Hollywood does cocaine, because it's probably true.
Because they do.
Yeah. So he says, quote, car chase scenes are tedious to shoot and boring to edit. They only really start coming together when you start getting the sound in there, which makes a lot of sense.
That makes sense.
But he's like, you just
same with the guns.
Same with guns.
You ever seen people running around with guns that wasn't added in with the sound effects yet? It's just people with plastic guns.
And just dub over it.
Doing the motion.
Pew, pew, pew.
That's it. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, that's part of the reason
line up all the sound
Star
effects,
Wars was so
and then
good.
It starts to sound like something.
Like all these idiots in plastic outfits with fake guns running around, and it's awesome because the sound effects are cool.
Pew pew. Pew pew.
Yeah, it's great. But yeah, it's got to be weird. You're like, does this suck? Nope. Put the sound in there. Sounds great. Tire screeching. Other car sounds. I'm good with cars. Refn does not drive. He knows nothing about cars, and he failed his driver's test 8 times.
Awesome.
Good guy to make a movie about cars, huh?
I'm sure Gosling told him all he needed to know.
Well, yeah, Gosling actually, to get into this role, the car they used, and I have what kind of car it is, but one of the cars they have in this movie that's his car,
like the Impala?
He rebuilt it. It wasn't the Impala, but he rebuilt it to, get into the role. The 1973 Malibu.
Nice.
So that's Gosling. They got the director who's making the movie about cars, doesn't know how to drive. And you got Gosling telling the director what to do, building cars, being the man.
That's right.
Has Gosling directed anything? I don't think so, right? He's still too damn pretty to get behind the camera, You got to keep. He's got to show his face until he gets old or whatever. Or he could just direct himself like Redford eventually.
Or
he's going to pitches and stuff, and the studios are like, "Come on, man, we're not going to give you the money to direct.
I'll give you $20 million to star in something, though."
Yeah. Only if you're in it will we give you the money. If you want to direct it, no, sorry, that's where we'll pass. Thanks.
I wonder what he's going to do after Barbie, because I feel like you're gonna.
I'm sure he can do whatever he wants.
Right.
I'm sure he's just working right along. Yeah.
Next thing.
Yeah.
Fucking Barbie.
He's probably booked out for years.
He started the Pusher trilogy when he was 24 years old. This director, it's pretty damn young, and he got to work with Mads Mikkelsen back then.
It's pretty cool. 24. That is pretty cool.
Yeah,
we should check out that trilogy for sure.
We should. So Refn had to rent a house in L.A. because he didn't live there, and he got the editor to live with him, and the writer as well. So the writer and the editor lived there. They edited the movie in the place where Refn was living, and they also had the writer there so that every day after all the changes they had, like with the improv and all that stuff, they could sit down and rewrite the rest of it. So they were constantly rewriting the script as they went along in his house.
So cool.
Yeah. What else we got here? They had one take to get the car flying off the cliff into the beach. One take, and he actually criticized the camera operator, which was pretty fucked up on the commentary track. He's like, he's a second late. And you can kind of actually see it when the car kind of like goes off frame, and then the camera pans down, like a crane shot pans down to the car. The guy's like, the guy fucked up the one take. And you're like, don't blame the camera operator. God damn it, he had one take.
That sucks.
Refn said Hollywood is a giant machine of dating. It's like just meetings. He says all it is meetings, and they feel like you're going on dates, and most of them are bad dates, and you just hope that one of the dates something's going to start. But really, all Hollywood is just meeting after meeting after meeting, and then sometimes a movie happens from the meeting. Sometimes it doesn't. Most times it doesn't.
And people think just by meeting and talking, that's working.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can do that forever if you've made one movie that had a $100 million profit or whatever.
Actually, I think it's becoming less and less of a thing, right? You got the old people, the old style, the way of doing it like that is dying.
I don't know. It's branching out. You still have
The
companies
robots are replacing.
Well, you still have companies like A24 they're still making money and they're aggressively creative to a fault, perhaps. But there's still some companies.
They're going volume.
Volume. I mean, that was the whole Blumhouse. Like the guy who made Saw started Blumhouse from that, and
it's the only way to go about it. Well, the entire market is volume.
His initial thing was give a young director who's creative and has an original idea $5 million to make a horror movie.
See what they can do.
And he made a shit ton of money doing that because you give 10 people $5 million, 2 of them make $200 million. You're fucking great.
You're great. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yep. And every once in a while, those horror movies are going to hit big because people love horror movies. They love fun houses.
Oh, Gosling's next project is going to be He's the producer and star of Project Hail Mary, which is Andy Weir's novel, who also did The Martian.
Oh, nice. Ryan Gosling in space.
Yep.
I'll take it. All right, so I got a few more pieces of trivia here. A woman sued the production company because she watched the trailer and thought it was going to be a Fast and Furious type of movie, and it wasn't that. And watching the trailer,
she's actually sued them?
The trailer. Yeah, she sued him. She lost, but she did.
That's hilarious. This movie was not what I thought it should be.
I mean, at what point is it false advertising? I guess you're showing real shots. There have been movies that remove shots from a trailer in a movie, and people have sued and won.
What? What?
Yeah. Because you're showing it and you're like, buy this. And you go and you're like, I went to go see that one shot and you removed it. Give me my money back, sort of thing.
Interesting.
What?
Wow.
And add some pain and suffering on top of it. Why not?
I guess so. A lot of really. Dad's never been the same since he saw that film.
Yeah.
And wasn't
Can't trust anything after that.
Wow.
Lose faith in everything.
Wow. I mean, just imagine being that person. What a loser.
Yeah. Seriously. This movie inspired Hotline Miami. You ever play that game, John?
Yeah. It's good.
Pretty good game.
They're good top-down,
cool
crazy
soundtrack,
shooters.
good style, sort of stuff.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Wacky, weird.
Yeah.
But they're fun. Just sort of these top-down shooter games.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. This was Carey Mulligan's first movie she went to after getting an Oscar nomination for An Education, which, if you guys are Carey Mulligan fans and haven't seen that movie, you should watch it. It's really good.
Oh.
I saw it way back when it came out. There's a scene towards the end where Ryan Gosling is going to steal the stuntman helmet mask thing, like the weird, scary skin mask thing. And you can see in the background of his trailer, there's 3 models of women, and they're actually Christina Hendricks models that they used for the head blow up scene. So those models in the background were versions of the thing they used to do the shotgun blast to the head. So you can see him in the background.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Little Easter egg.
And I assume that they just built more than they needed because that was afterwards and they shot it chronologically.
Because that one wasn't there unless
they must have got that one and they're like, guys, we got it. Let's go home. That was fucking great.
Jeez.
Because it was shot digitally. Because I guess that's obvious because the nighttime shots are so clear. Digital is the best way to do nighttime. I think that's still the case. TC, I don't know if you want to correct me on that one, but
yeah, makes sense. It's better. It's easier than film.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
I just remember when Collateral.
If you don't have a lot of money, you're not going to bring the lighting in.
Right. Do you remember that movie Collateral? That was kind of the big.
Yep.
Jamie Foxx and Tom Cruise, and it was all nighttime shots, and it was one of the first digital films because it was all
Michael Mann.
Yeah, it's a good movie. Actually, I watched that kind of recently. It holds up pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tom Cruise, bad guy.
Yeah, gotta love Tom Cruise.
That was the whole selling point at that point.
Yep. He was kind of the bad guy in Tropic Thunder too.
That's another one we should maybe watch.
I don't know.
I mean, that's a funny.
Does it not hold up?
I've tried to get Naomi to watch that twice, and she's made me shut it off both times.
Oh, really? Okay.
There's some pretty gnarly gore.
I think it's great.
I think it's pretty good.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Well, we should do that one.
And the last piece of trivia I have is that Refn reached out to Gaspar Noé, or I'm not sure how to say his name, but he's the director who made Irreversible, among other things. He made Nymphomaniac. He's in a bunch of really...
I know of Irreversible.
Into the Void he did.
Anyway.
Actually,
Irreversible is a really, really horrific rape film.
It is terrifying. Yeah, it has Monica
I have
Bellucci in
not
like the
seen it.
scariest rape scene ever filmed. It's
Right.
not
Okay.
worth watching. It's really upsetting. But there's a scene, the whole movie is based on revenge. It goes backwards, and the whole movie is based on revenge of that horrific scene. And towards the end, he smashes a dude's skull in with the fire extinguisher.
Okay.
And it looks so good that this director for the head stomping scene was like, I want to make it look good. How do I do it? So like he talked to Gaspar Noé about how to do it. And it was
Head
actually
stomping.
so graphic that the ratings board told them to edit it. It was the only scene they were forced to edit down because it was so graphic. Which is surprising because getting the head blown off, pretty graphic too. But I guess it must have been a lot longer.
Horrifying. Yeah, that one was a horrifying scene.
Mm-hmm.
But fast. Maybe the other one was.
It was
not
about
so
the same
fast.
length. I bet they cut it down to the exact same length as the shotgun
maybe.
shot. If it was longer than
like-
that and it looked good, I can imagine that being a bit too much, the head stomping.
Oh, that
But who knows, man, with the boys.
ties this film to our previous film too. Had some good head stomping.
You gotta stomp the heads.
In the last film we saw too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. So was it a good pick to go after Love Lies Bleeding? Was it thematically relevant? Did it have the same kind of flavor to it?
One head stomp to another head stomp.
80s
Stylish thriller, right?
Thriller.
I would say Drive was hands down better.
Oh, yeah.
Oh god, yeah, but still,
Which is what we were
yeah.
really trying to prove is whether or not Love Lies
Right.
Bleeding is worse than Drive.
Right.
And yes, it is.
Well, that
And
was-
yes, we did that much.
Yes, we did.
Great.
Good for us.
Thank God we got that one out of
All
the way.
right, yeah. I'll move on with our lives, having this important
Yes.
conclusion.
But would you put this in the top 250? Yes, I would.
Oh
Yes.
Yes, TC says yes too.
Yes.
Mostly just because your first viewing was stood
Yeah,
up.
I remember when I first saw it, I was like, that movie was awesome. And I mean, I'm still, still impressed by the production stuff and why they chose to do certain things. And it's good stuff.
So next week, guys, there's no more avoiding it. And I don't think there's going to be much to avoid. Seven Samurai.
3 hours.
1954.
Seven Samurai.
Oh, yeah.
3.5 hours. 3.5.
Yeah.
There's an intermission, and it's about 2 hours in. So if you're going to split it up, it makes it easy for you. And I texted you guys. I don't normally do this, but I was watching it, and I was like, I don't know.
This is going to need 2 nights.
Well, not necessarily that, but it's like it might. I don't know. I always try to guess at how you guys are going to react to movies, but this one is if you have a distraction, you might use it, and if you do use it, then you might not get as much enjoyment out of this movie as you could. So try to, as much as possible, put yourself in a situation. Put your phone away. Do it at a time where it's quiet in your house, something like that, just so you can pay attention to it because it is old, but. It might deserve your full attention, is all I'm trying to say.
Okay, fair enough.
All right.
Fair enough. We'll give it.
Sounds
I'll give it a
good.
try.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
I can try that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, with our ADD
All right,
generation and everything, the freaking youth these days,
Seven
goddamn
I know.
technology.
Samurai.
No
Instagram.
scrolling, you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
No
you know,
scrolling.
God, I went to a play and there were like 2 different people scrolling on their phones during the fucking play.
How old were they?
They were actually older. They were like
Fucking old
older
people.
guys.
They're
Entitled
important
fucks.
business people. They got to take their emails. Come
I
on.
find older people to be the most
some
entitled
guys, like
fuckers on the planet.
messaging somebody. It's like, God damn.
I mean, I'm going to be. I'm already almost there, you know?
Stay humble, TC.
Right? Yeah, do whatever I want. I'm old.
Yeah,
Get
I'm
out of my
old. What are
way.
you gonna do?
I've
Kill
earned
me?
it.
I'm already
Yeah,
half
what are you
dead.
going to do? I already
Kill me,
survived all
go
the
for it.
shit that I should have been killed by anyway. So,
I dare you. I'm fucking invincible. Bring it.
right.
That's right.
I'm fucking ready. Let's go. All
Let's go.
right, boys.
All right.
Next week.
Next week.
All right.
Seven Samurai.
Yeah, we should plan out time to make it a long episode, potentially.
We'll do
yeah,
30
let's
second
try
wrap
to
up in the
30 second wrap
beginning.
up. There we go. Double it.
Yeah, we'll do a
Maybe
30 second
intermission.
lightning
Do an
round.
intermission
Oh,
in
yeah,
between
yeah.
15 and 15.
Yeah.
But we should let's see if we can find a time. We'll try to find a time where I can do it earlier.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, boys.
Later, guys.
All right.
Talk to
Take
you guys
care,
soon.
Wait,
All right.